already. I have to think about what we're going to talk about today, but we will indeed have a topic. Just should maybe later on than normal. All right. Oh, I know what's a good topic I can talk about today. So we can do, well, we'll talk about the merit and the worth, I guess, like, not worth, but like the benefit of being present. The benefit of being present and living in the moment while pursuing your goals. Yeah. So we'll talk about that when we do our cable crunches. But not right now. Let's do our sets first. Okay. So we'll do one more here, one more off camera, and then we'll go do our cable crunches. I guess we can kind of start talking about it here. And the idea is based off this kind of principle. If you're not being present during specific chapters of pursuing your goal, you're dedicating energy and time to things that are either not helping you or not helping you and sometimes even hurting you, or you're not putting in your best effort into what you know you could be doing. And I saw this quote where it's like, if you're going to work, or if you're working, then work. If you're studying, then study. If you're, being disciplined, then be disciplined. And nowadays, a lot of people, they kind of go in between the two, right? They don't stick to one thing when they're pursuing that goal. And as a result, they get lackluster results on everything, right? Through everything they're pursuing. So. Hold on. Where did she go? All right, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Alrighty. We got one more set here, one off camera, and then we'll go do some cable crunches. Huh? Oh no, that's not good. Ow. Okay. One more off camera. Alrighty. So, let us talk about what we were talking about earlier. So, I wanted to touch on this topic just because I feel like it's very easy to get ahead of yourself when it comes to planning these things. And I, like, to be honest, I haven't really figured out how to avoid this either. Because I'm very much a planning person. I'm someone that, wants to think ahead, wants to dwell on future things that I want to do. But I think there's a distinction between dwelling on it and obsessing over it. And I think too often we kind of cross that line where we have this idea of what we want to do, and the idea becomes an integral part in our process where we're doing something. Say, for instance, say we're in a bulk phase, right? And we're doing our workouts, we're hitting everything perfectly fine, we're getting our meals in, all these things that are really good for our goals, and as a result, we start thinking about the next step, right? And obviously, the next step would be cutting down, but we think about that to the extent that it starts kind of eating into our bulk, where we say, oh, well, I don't want to make it harder on myself for the cut. Might as well start now. People get impatient. They start thinking about how they want to look in the long run. And that's where it starts getting, that's where it starts impacting us negatively, where we're caught between two separate ideas that are not necessarily different goals, right? Because at the end of the day, they're both contributing to the same goal, but they require two separate mentalities from us, two separate actions. And so trying to pursue both of them at the same time just leaves us in this kind of state where we don't get the best results out of either of them because we're too busy trying to focus on one or the other, right? We're dividing our energy, we're dividing our attention so much so that when we get to the end of the set point in time, if you had like a 6-month bulk or an 8-month bulk, by the time you get to that 8-month mark, you're unhappy with the results you've gotten. Why? Because you've decided halfway through, oh, I want to, contribute some energy to something else. So we have to remain, I guess we must stay focused, brothers. The same thing, right? We have to stay focused on the things that we're pursuing in the moment, whether that be dieting down, whether that be getting our cardio in. And you can apply it to even like minute ideas within, like miniature ideas within what you're doing. So say you're bulking, right? Maybe you have a lot of trouble with getting your meals in, right? Focus on that and get that done first, right? Maybe you have trouble with, pushing yourself in the gym. Focus on that. Make sure that you're a master at that skill before you move on to something else. Why? Because once you've mastered that skill, even if you do stop focusing on it, right? Even if you do kind of like leave it off to the side, you've done it so often and you've mastered it so well that like it just becomes second nature to you, right? It's something that just happens rather than you having to actively think about it. A good example of this would be, breath control when you're doing exercises. A lot of people, when they first start out working out, they have trouble bracing, knowing when to breathe, knowing when to let go of their breath, knowing when to hold it. And you have to actively develop that skill. And over time, you get good at it, right? It becomes something that just happens innately. So we have to apply that same mentality with everything else. And we have to be present, right? We have to be present in the things that we're pursuing. So we cannot say, oh, we're going to pursue this and then divide our attention between 5 different things, because all that's going to do is leave us disappointed with the results we get. Master the skills that you need to achieve what you want. Don't be a jack of all trades. What's that saying? Jack of all trades, a master of none. So make sure that you have something that you can fall back on, and be present. Enjoy the process, you guys. I know that it's difficult, and trust me, I'm working on it too. When it comes to patience, because I'm not impatient, but I'm very much I want to accomplish my goal and move on to the next thing, right? I want to knock things down quickly. But I have to learn that like there is peace and merit in staying where you are and enjoying what you're doing, and enjoying just the little wins that you have in those moments, because you do have little wins. It's just very easy to overlook them because you're still fixated on 5 different things. So hopefully that helps. Let us do our set. It's getting ridiculous the weight that we're doing. I may in fact need to find something else to do, but whatever. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I just need to find a gym that has heavier weights, because this is ridiculous. It's whatever. That's fine. Ten controlled reps with this weight is, I don't know, it's ridiculous. So, first of all, let's go down in weight. Alrighty. One more on here, one more off camera, and then we'll go do some decline sit-ups. Okay. I'm off camera. Okay. So we got one set here, one set off camera, and we'll go check things out. I don't even know why I bothered to wear my headphones this, but one of these days I'll stay on. They're already falling off. You gotta be joking me. Whatever. Nope. I don't know. Nope. Okay. One more off camera. Alrighty. That's how we're looking today. If you did enjoy the content, or if it was helpful in any way, please drop a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.